God, I can remember so many nights lying on my back with my legs spread and a woman over me. And then my mom would walk into the room and ask how the physical therapy was going. So that's what started my physical therapy fetish. Do you know how hard it is to find a girl who will role-play physical therapist? Authentically? She'll be like, okay, now it's time to stretch the quadriceps. And then I'll get out of bed and yell, no. Those are the hamstrings. The quadriceps are on top of the leg. And then she'll go, I knew that. I was just pulling your leg. God, I tried signing up for a dating app, and I got confused by the question, which way do you lean? My first girlfriend had spastic cerebral palsy. That was interesting. You know what makes 17-year-old romance more awkward? Uncontrollable limb motions. We both had CP. It's kind of interesting because she was a premature baby and she was born 3 days before me, even though technically she should have been born after me, but because she was premature, she was born before me. What I'm trying to say is my girlfriend came before me, but only because she came prematurely. So I have mild ataxic cerebral palsy from birth. I'm going to go into my birth trauma routine now. I just hope I don't botch the delivery. Having a traumatic birth is pretty great. I mean, you get the worst day of your life out first, and you don't even remember it. What happened was I got stuck on the way out of my mom and couldn't breathe for 3 minutes. What's the best way not to be upset about oxygen deprivation at birth? You just don't fixate on it. So they got me out of my mom and they thought I was dead. My parents were very upset to get a dead baby boy because they wanted a dead baby girl. And then the doctor goes, great news. Gender's a social construct. Also, the baby is breathing. So they put me on a helicopter and took me to another hospital. And it's like, wow, it's a good thing my parents didn't have a home birth. Because you know what you call a traumatic home birth? A midwife crisis. I used to volunteer at a preschool for disabled children, the same one I used to go to, just to teach them that, life is gonna be hard and terrible. One of my favorite things to do was to take 2 of those giant wooden puzzles with the easy to hold handles. Take 2 of them and you swap half the pieces for the other one. Give them to the children. It's 10 times funnier when they have fine motor difficulties. I got in trouble once because we had to push the kids down a hill, and I'm like, if I were this age and I had like a cool teenager around me, I'd want him to just let go of the wheelchair for a few seconds, just to let it go down the hill and grab it. So I did that a few times. And, I didn't get into trouble, but could have been something bad. I was so bad about some of the stories I had to read them. There were some stories that just don't work for disabled children. Like, I hated having to read The Little Engine That Could, because some people just can't. There were also these dolls. The school wasn't very well run, so sometimes the toys would run out of batteries. And there were these talking dolls. And they wouldn't change the batteries until weeks after they were dead. So I'm like, that must really fuck the children up, right? Imagine this doll that you're trying to relate to as a friend just stops talking to you for weeks. And then this adult takes her away to this secret room for a few weeks. And then she comes back and suddenly she's talking to you again. And keep in mind, most of these kids were also in therapy, so. I'd like to change some of the stories, though. I came up with a princess story about a disabled princess. Ready? Once upon a time, there was a fair, single-leg amputee maiden named Cinderella. She wanted to go to the ball, but the dress code said 2 glass slippers. And she only had 1 leg. So she hits up a fairy godmother, right? And is like, hey, can I have another leg? And then Disney comes in, and Disney is like the deity that watches over the Magic Kingdoms. They're like, we don't want to tell young girls that they can be cured by wishing, so we gotta veto the leg. And the fairy godmother is like, okay, I can give you this prosthetic leg and put it on by magic, but it will fall off at midnight. So fast forward to the ball. She's dancing with the prince, awkwardly. Because she's not used to 2 legs. And then suddenly it's midnight, so she tries to run away. Awkwardly. Because she's not used to 2 legs. Then suddenly the magic ends, the leg falls off. She tumbles down the stairs. Then she drags herself, bloodied, bruised, and banged up into the forest and back home. Then the prince finds the leg, and he's like, now, statistically, how many amputees can there be in this kingdom? So he finds Cinderella, puts the leg back on, and it fits. And Cinderella goes, does this mean we're gonna get married? And the prince says, nah, just pulling your leg. All right, so a paraplegic, a double-arm amputee, and someone with mild ataxic cerebral palsy, I'll walk, I'll go. Into a bar. The paraplegic asks, do I have a standing tab? The amputee says, I don't know offhand. The person with mild ataxic CPU says, I'll have mine shaken, not stirred. Then the door opens again, and in comes someone with a forearm crutch, someone in a wheelchair, someone with knee-high orthotics. Person with a crutch says, I don't know what I want, but I'm leaning towards 3 whiskeys. Person in a wheelchair says, I want something else, but I guess, but I'll go with whatever. And the person with knee-high orthotics says, yeah, I guess I'll bend. Then the door opens again, right? And in comes a single-leg amputee, a blind guy, and a mute guy. The single-leg amputee asks for a beer with hops. The blind guy asks for a double IPA. The mute guy doesn't say anything. Because he isn't thirsty. And then the door opens again, right? And then comes a gunshot victim, a double-arm amputee, and someone with muscular dystrophy. The gunshot victim asked for a round of shots. Double-arm amputee asks, double-arm amputee says, I forgot my punchline. And the bartender's like, all right, what's going on here? And the person with muscular dystrophy says, all right, this has all been an act. Bartender says, an act? What would you call such an act? And then everyone in the bar, except the mute guy, goes the aristocrats.